I got 8 tips that possibly can help you when it comes to planting your plants in your landscaping, all right? Know the direction of where the sun rises up in your yard, and know when the sun sets in your yard. And that's going to help you out a lot when it comes to planting your plants, because some plants will be able to handle the sunlight, between 4 to 6 hours, sometimes 8 hours. And then you have other plants that will not be able to handle as much sunlight as others. So it's very important for you to know where the sun rises and sets on your lawn, and that's going to help you be able to pick out the right type of plants and where those plants would be more they will be better suited in your lawn. Second tip, know the weaknesses of your flowers you're going to plant. You want to know the weaknesses of your flowers as well as the strengths. Some plants you're able to water them every other day. Some plants they have a high tolerance in heat. You want to know the weaknesses and the strengths of the plants. Number 3, it's best to plant the perennials versus the annual. I was just looking at the plants and I look how nice and pretty they look, that I was just grabbing them and planting them, but then come to find out, that the plants that I was planting, they were not able, they didn't really last a long time. Matter of fact, they didn't come around yearly. So annually means they only stay in that season. And then after the fall comes and winter comes, that's it. They will not regrow again. Perennials are the ones that, they go through their process of the season, spring, summer, and then also fall. And then in wintertime, make sure you kind of cover them. When it's a deep freeze, you can cover them up with a sheet. It will keep them from burning or getting frostbitten. And if you're able to do that, then those perennials will return in the season of the spring the next following year. All right. The 4th one, don't believe the indication cards that comes with the plants in terms of how much sun. Now, I know I said before, you use that, but you have to understand how to trial and error in that particular area. So, but I know I said that you want to get to know your plants, because some plants do well in the sun and then some that doesn't. But on the card, indication card or the information card, it says that the plants will be able to handle a certain amount of sunlight. But that's not always necessarily true, because sometimes, like in Florida, it gets very hot. Trial and error. Sometimes it's going to be trial and error, and you're going to know what's going to work for you and what's not. Tip number 5, create your own colors or patterns that suit you. Sometimes you can go on Pinterest. You can look at the landscapes on Pinterest. They have a lot of great ideas when it comes to color patterning. But, whatever really suits you, fine. And whatever it is that, rocks your boat, you just go with that. You know what colors you like, and, you know what colors. And as you do it, you're going to learn how to match colors up, because some colors doesn't look good with each other. But sometimes it's good to just visualize. So it's best to have a vision when it comes to colors that you want. Just kind of visualize it in your mind. and you'll be fine. All right. Tip number 6. If you can afford it, it's best to use decorative rocks, okay, versus mulch. And see, the reason why I say that, because I've had mulch. I didn't like the mulch because the mulch doesn't last, and not only that, it accumulates a lot of bugs. So when you dig up that mulch and you say it got a lot of critters up underneath it, ants. Ants. It seems like ants builds their nests up on the mulch. It looks good when you first put it down, but eventually, as time go on, especially in the summertime, that heat dries the color, and the next thing you know, the color fades, and then the mulch doesn't look as fresh as what it was when you first purchased it. So if you're able to afford it, the decorative rocks, the white marble rocks, those type of rocks like that, they look so much better in your landscape, and also brings such a spices up the appearance of the landscape. So if you're able to afford it, it's best to go with the decorative rocks. All right. Tip number 7. If you live in an area it gets real cold, always make sure that you cover your plants. Make sure you look at the weather. Once I started to plant and do a little bit of landscaping here and there, I started to pay attention to, when it's going to rain, when the temperature starts to drop, and you'll start getting a feeling of it. When you start hearing the temperature dropping down in the 30s or the 40s, something like that, that's when it's time to start covering your plants. All right. I learned a valuable lesson. If you do not cover your plants, those plants definitely would get frostbite, and you would damage the plants. And trust me, they will not grow back. Okay. You will have to dig them up and replant again. That's what happened to me. I had to dig up just about all of my plants. I had to redo everything. And the last tip, you want to make sure that you get flowers that has a high heat tolerance, okay? So just kind of be careful when you're choosing your flowers. If you're going for the tropical, that's what I went for. I went for the tropical perennial flowers, okay? And the ones that are able to handle the heat tolerance, all right? So those are the 8 tips that I have through my trial and error and some of the things of what I experienced in the landscaping. I don't feel like I'm a professional. I just feel like that I'm just kind of getting into it now. It's like therapy to me, So, but yeah, those are 8 tips, and I hope that this has helped you out just a little bit. All right? Okay? Y'all take care. Be blessed.